Another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text ROAD to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text ROAD to 323232 right now. Text ROAD to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's ROAD to 323232. Text ROAD to 323232 now.
Brenda Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auctions for over 40 years. They conduct over 150 auctions every year, selling tens of thousands of items at the price you set. Auctions are held regularly for Colorado government agencies, and they always have big-ticket items at great prices. That's why I love Roller Auction. And almost all bidding is conducted online in real time, and it's open to the public. Anyone can participate. Check back regularly. New auctions are added weekly. Be the first to know about new auctions available for bidding when you sign up for email notifications. Go to rollerauction.com/thefan.
Is your money doing everything it can for you? Like automatically pushing more of your money to savings every day?
I don't think so.
Then switch to Huntington Bank. And let's get more from money. Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here. Denver is Truck Month only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, where every new and pre-owned truck comes with a spray-in bed liner included. That's right, every new truck, every bed protected. Plus, take advantage of deeply incentivized programs on all the new and pre-owned trucks, including the new Silverado and Colorado, with offers designed for their customers to take advantage of. Work harder, play harder, drive smarter. Only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, your trusted partner in automotive.
It's Chuck Devine with SnowCountry.com. Bring your blueprints to Lowe's Pro Desk and get help streamlining the estimating process. Then when your order's ready, Lowe's delivers to the job site. A little more fresh powder in the mountains to go with the snow we had earlier this week, and then sunshine this weekend so you can enjoy that powdery snow at Loveland. They jumped up to 75% of their terrain with 70-pack powder trails, 8 inches of fresh snow over the last 6 days for them. Winter Park just got another couple inches fresh, 8 inches this week. They're 70%. Aspen Mountain and Snowmass both over 90%, with Snowmass getting 27 inches of fresh snow since this time last week. Cooper with 9 inches of fresh powder this week on 40-pack powder trails, and Monarchs on 90% of their terrain. Steeps at Mirkwood Basin got a cushion of powder this week, and No Name Basin has new trails at Monarch. Wolf Creek got 30 inches of fresh powder this week. They have powder stashes and sweet groomers everywhere with 42 miles of slopes. Get more at snowcountry.com.
Hey, it's Zach By here. Protect your home with 5280 Exteriors and their James Hardy siding, Timber Tech decking, and Pella Impervia fiberglass windows. They also offer 60 months, no interest financing. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Need a plumber? Euro Plumbing has the lowest prices in town. Rock bottom prices on whole house repipes, sewer line repairs, even water heaters. 720-500-3000.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports from your online home for the best opinions and information on the
appreciate Animal House. It was a little before my time, but I have a bunch of older siblings. So as old as I am, I'm even older by association. So
you're also a Wisconsin guy. They play that at Wisconsin football games.
Yeah, they do. It's a big Oregon thing because of the Animal House being shot there. Anyway, Chad Anderson tonight on Denver Sports Tonight with Dante. Do you get into that stuff, or is that just more like stuff that you're familiar with it because you've heard it played at stadiums?
The song?
Yeah.
No, I know that song.
Okay.
I mean, it's at weddings. I went to a Rose Bowl between Oregon and Wisconsin, and they played it there at the third quarter. It was awesome. I've also seen Animal House a bunch of times, so I'm pretty familiar with the song.
Okay. Good for you.
I like that song. It's my favorite wedding song of all time.
Oh, okay.
I think at my wedding, I want to play twice. That's how much I like it.
Wow. All right.
Give me double shout.
All right. Dante, head to the toga party this weekend. Let's kick things off this evening, Dante, and try to diagnose and assess where we are with our little Nuggies. The Denver Nuggets now sitting at 35-21, 20-10 on the road, which is actually really, really good. It's been the home record that's been more disappointing. But that after a 115-114 loss to the Clippers in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome last night, same site that all of the All-Star festivities were just at, and they come out of the All-Star break. And would you call this laying an egg, Dante?
No, I don't think laying an egg is they lost by 1 point, and the Clippers aren't great, but it also took Ben Mathurin going off for 38 points on the other side to make this happen.
Well,
I think certain players laid an egg. I think that's fair.
Considering the fact that they've had time off, even the players involved in the All-Star weekend were already in the city, so it's not like they had additional travel coming back from that to be in L.A. for the game. No concern at all that this was a Clippers team that is now suddenly without James Harden, without Ivica Zubac, and not the team that you had expected to see this season, not the team that you played in the playoffs last year, not the team that Jokic cooked early on in the season for 55 against Zoo, who guards him better than anybody, and supposedly just kind of left out a little bit out in the cold with Kawhi being the last man standing there in L.A., and you still lost to him?
I think there's definitely a room for concern there that this Clippers team's not trying to win ball games. They're probably in that category of teams that are tanking to try to get the best draft pick possible here, and the Nuggets weren't able to get a win. And it's weird that the two players that were participating in the All-Star game probably shot the worst last night between Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Both of them had terrible shooting nights, and some of the guys that did have rest and you would expect to be out of rhythm, haven't played a basketball game in a week, those were the guys that shot pretty well last night. So a little bit of concern there offensively, but to be honest, my main takeaway were defensively. I thought Nikola Jokic still looked a little bit out of shape and a step slow on defense, which he's not a great defender in general. So when you're adding an extra half step slower on top of that, I think that's definitely room for concern. And you're missing your two best point of attack defenders with Aaron Gordon and Payton Watson. So I think my bigger takeaway was defensively how much they struggled.
And that's the biggest problem with this team right now. Look, I'm not going to get upset because they lost their road game to the Clippers. I'm not going to fret over that. But when you start to examine some of the stuff you mentioned, Jokic went 9 of 22. Murray went 5 of 15 last night, while Julian Strawther played well. Bruce Brown had his best game of the season, his best game since returning to the Nuggets. Cam Johnson played well. It is defense. And that's the biggest concern, and it's maybe even the extended concern from the defense is the Nuggets in clutch time this year. So games within 5 points under the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter, the Nuggets are 14-14. And this is where they used to dominate, and they would own teams. So much so that if you go back to the championship season of 2023, there were times where I even accused them of coasting a little bit through the better part of 3.5 quarters because they knew as long as the game was close in the final 6 minutes, 5 minutes, that they were just going to strangle teams and pull away, and they were going to win. And they didn't have to give maximum effort through the entire game because they could save it going 70, 75% and they knew that 100% in the final 5 minutes would give them a 12-point win, and it oftentimes did. And it went to a 16-4 run through the playoffs into a championship. Now, what's even more concerning than that 14-14 in the clutch record, Dante, I'm pretty sure, I have to go back and double and triple check this. I'm pretty sure that 14-14 mark is 12-6 in the clutch without Jokic. Meaning they're 2-8 in the clutch with the best player in the world on the floor.
That's definitely more concerning than just 14-14, because Jokic is going to be on the floor in playoff games when they're tight.
Here's why. Here's why they're having problems in the clutch. Their net rating is almost minus 9.5 points. It's minus 9.3. Their offensive rating in the clutch is 115.7, which is good. They're always good on offense. They're always great on offense when Jokic is on the floor. Their defensive rating is 125. That means teams are getting whatever they want when the game is on the line. And here's what makes it worse. The defensive rating in the clutch with Jokic on the floor. Without him, it's 100. Pretty good. Can close out games, can win. Very solid without him. With him, it's 136.
Wow. I was expecting a high number there. I wasn't expecting that high of a number. That is very concerning, and it's one of those where typically your center is a rim protector, and that's just not the case here in Denver. And Jokic does so many things well on the basketball court, offensively particularly, but he is not the best defender in the world. And again, I think that really shows when you don't have a Payton Watson or an Aaron Gordon out there to be that physical specimen, that athleticism out there on display. So that's still surprising how high of a number that was, though.
It's shockingly bad. I mean, it is shockingly bad. And this is painful because, look, I kneel at the altar of our Serbian basketball god. I have nothing bad to say about this man ever. I think he is one of the elite humans we've ever had the privilege to pass through this town, and he just so happens to be the best basketball player the Nuggets have ever had. So it pains me to point a finger at him in any way, shape, or form. But he is the best player on the team. He's the best player in the world, and he has to bear the brunt of the responsibility, as does Jamal Murray, for where the Nuggets are at this point in losing home games, in not being able to get stops. And I think, Dante, there is a tinge, maybe even more than a tinge, maybe a significant part of the culture, the mindset, the mentality of the Nuggets organization that still recalls 2023 and what they were at their peak and thinks they can still operate that way. And they clearly cannot. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem because you don't have the same roster, the same setup, the same competition.
I would say the competition to me is the bigger aspect of this. The biggest competition they faced that year is the Phoenix Suns. At least went the furthest in the series that year. That Phoenix Suns team wasn't that good. I know they had Devin Booker and Kevin Durant who went off for a couple games there, but there was games there when they were starting Jock Landale, who I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there have no idea who that is. They're starting Cam Payne, and they're starting Landry Shamet. So that Suns team was not that good.
They're starting agitators.
Exactly, and the fact that that Nuggets team was good, and obviously you don't go 16-4 by accident in the playoffs on your way to winning a title. But the level of competition has definitely stepped up since then.
And in the other series that the Nuggets would tell you gave them the most problems, even though it didn't go as deep as the Sun series did, was the Minnesota series that year. And Minnesota, from that point forward, really took a 2-year run, a year-and-a-half run of just dominating Denver afterwards, after the Nuggets beat them. It's a problem to look at this situation and assess it and go, well, where are the answers going to come from? Because I don't think, Dante, I'm any longer at the point where I can say they just have to get healthy. And that's what concerns me the most. Because from the time the offseason acquisitions were made, I began every sentence regarding the Nuggets with, if they're healthy, they'll win the NBA championship. And I believe I even made that statement as recently as Monday when we were in here with John. And I said, if they're healthy, I still believe that they will win the NBA championship. I also put the caveat on that I am now, for the first time, seriously doubting that they're ever going to be healthy again.
I agree. And I mentioned how much the absence of Aaron Gordon and Payton Watson meant to this team in last night's game, specifically defensively. If you have to rely on Aaron Gordon to be this macho man on the defensive end of the floor for 4 rounds of basketball, I just don't think his body's ready for that, too. So I don't think that's the position that you want to put your team in, but unfortunately that's the realistic situation that they're in, is that Aaron Gordon's going to have to go above and beyond and cover some of these other guys' gaps when it comes to playing defense. Because Jamal Murray, again, I think he shows some effort on defense sometimes, but there's no one's mistaking him for an all-NBA defender, especially at the guard position, a little undersized. So, and you're talking about teams like Minnesota, and I'm going to throw Oklahoma City in there, and I'll even throw the Spurs in there. They have active hands on defense. They're going to make you work on offense, and they don't give it up easy. And the Nuggets, I just don't know if I can say the same thing for them. Sometimes it looks like they're going through the motions.
And the other challenge with this is, again, if you still have that mentality as a competitor that you know how to do this because you've done it, and I'm talking about Jokic and Murray in particular, it does require, at this level, saving a bit of energy for the offense to execute. Look, they can't be all out on defense the entire game and then perform on offense the way we have seen them perform in crunch time in big spots. It's just not a physical thing that they are capable of doing. If you want to say, well, Michael Jordan did it, fine. Okay, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or whoever you want to compare them to, that's not Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Okay, sacrifices are made to play to your strengths. Not everybody can do that.
But then I want to throw in Cam Johnson isn't particularly great on the defensive side either. He's another one of those where he's going to play with effort on the defensive end, but there's some limitations there. So now we're talking about 3 of the Nuggets players that are going to be playing in crunch time, not plus defenders. And then if you want to include last night Christian Braun, I think he's a pretty good defender on that end, but it's just not he doesn't quite have the imposing size that some of these other guys.
So let's do this. Let's do this then. If we're trying to solve the crunch time and the clutch time lineups, what does it need to be for the Nuggets come playoff time to be effective? Because I don't think they've found the mix yet. And a large part of it has been because of injury, but it's also been because of the slow start Cam Johnson got off to, and then the combinations they were playing with through injuries, and now the troubles they are having with their 2 best leaders and players on the floor, them struggling defensively in the clutch. All right, what is the clutch time lineup that they need to put out there healthy for the playoffs to make this thing work?
I think it definitely, obviously Jamal and Jokic, there's no way you're not having them out there. I would say Payton Watson and Aaron Gordon are necessary. And then at that point, I think you just go with either Christian Braun or Cam Johnson, whoever you feel more confident in that moment. But I think each have their somewhat limitations defensively, Cam Johnson more so than Christian Braun, but I think that's what I would do at least. I would throw those 5 out there, and I guess 6 depending on who you want to go with between Braun and Johnson.
I think it's Cam Johnson.
You'd rather go with him or you'd leave him out?
I think he's the guy that needs to play in that lineup, and I think it's because of the offensive potency.
I think you need
what
the
he brings to the
that
table.
Johnson brings, yeah.
And you can criticize him defensively, but he is a guy that is always going to be where he's supposed to be. And when you're playing with Jokic, that is the most important thing you can do on the floor. Whether you hit shots or not, whether you keep guys in front of you or not, that is the most important thing you can do. That was the major frustration with Michael Porter Jr. is he was never where he was supposed to be, and it would drive him crazy. It would drive Jokic crazy. I would lean Cam Johnson over Christian Braun because that offensive potency, that threat, and the way he's now shooting the ball, I think is more valuable than the reputation Christian Braun brings on defense, because I think the reputation and what he had proven as a rookie and early on is not the Christian Braun we're getting right now, and I don't see him being an elite on-ball defender in the postseason against, if it's, use Kawhi Leonard as an example, or whatever other elite player in the West, Anthony Edwards.
Well, if you look at it, a lot of those guys are bigger guards as well. Kawhi is more of a wing player, but if you're talking about Shea's a big guy. I don't think Christian Braun necessarily matches up great with an SGA or an Anthony Edwards or a Devin Booker. Those guys are all 6'5", 6'6" out there, and I just don't think Christian Braun's the ideal matchup for those guys, and that's when you need to be able to have some versatility and some flexibility in your lineup, and that's when I think you need to have Watson and Gordon. And I would be a fan of having Johnson out there as well. I think just what he brings offensively, spacing-wise, is better. And he's shown he can be somewhat of a ball handler. Same with Gordon, same with Jokic, same with Murray. Because we've seen Murray struggle with some of these teams that try to press him, throw multiple bodies at him, make him work throughout the game. It really wears him out. I think Cam Johnson at least provides a little bit of an ailment for that.
So what's interesting is the choice for you was between Cam Johnson and Christian Braun, right? Meaning Peyton Watson is a no-brainer.
I think
he's got to be on the floor.
I just think defensively, and especially when he's knocking down shots, if we see the same version of him that we saw for that month of January, it's a no-brainer to me. He stretches the floor because teams have to respect his three. And then defensively, he just brings something that no one else on the team really does. And last night we saw Julian Strawther shoot the ball really well. But, I mean, that guy's a total liability on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And it's not because of his effort or anything like that. It's just physical limitations that he has out there.
Yeah, and that's a challenge. I mean, Julian Strawther has definitely grown and taken a step and a leap forward this year and earned the time he's getting. I don't think that means there's any guarantee of him being in a playoff rotation.
I would actually be surprised if he was in a playoff rotation.
Well, I think it's going to look different under David Adelman, to be honest with you. It's not going to be the Michael Malone old school, I've got 7, maybe 8 guys to play in a playoff game. I think the Nuggets potentially may even add one more buyout candidate or veteran off the street. I think they will go into the playoffs with a fully playable roster depending on situation, and that may be in a 2-minute stint at any given time. Right? I don't think because they get into the playoffs, suddenly Spencer Jones is not going to play. It's not going to work like that with David Adelman.
Well, who's not going to play? Jokic is going to get 40 minutes a game? We've seen what this team can look like in the non-Jokic minutes.
Yeah, he's going to play 40 minutes. He has to. That is the way it works with your go-to guys and your star players. But I think Spencer Jones will see minutes. Peyton Watson will obviously see minutes if and when he's healthy. You've got your other starters, Christian Braun, Cam Johnson, Jamal, right? Aaron Gordon has to play and be healthy or you got no shot from the get-go. Like if he's not healthy and Peyton Watson isn't healthy, this thing may not get out of the first round, to be honest with you. When I'm talking about if they're healthy, they should win the championship, may not get out of the first round if they're not. That's what you're dealing with in the Western Conference. But I think Spencer Jones is a guy that you don't rule out when the playoffs come. Obviously, Bruce Brown is going to play because he's the ball handler. Hardaway is going to play with stretching the floor and three-point shooting off of the bench. But, outside of maybe DeRon Holmes and Zeke Naji, I think they're going to go in with everybody available in every potential situation. And maybe even Zeke, depending on how healthy Aaron Gordon is and, what the score of any game is. But, not in a game that is still in doubt. The only guys that aren't going to play are Zeke Naji and DeRon Holmes. Everybody else is, including Pickett.
Yeah, I think that's a different mindset, definitely, than what we saw from Michael Malone in the past. I just don't know how realistic that is, to go 10 deep is what you're talking about here.
Well, that's what Oklahoma City does.
It is, but Oklahoma City also is the kind of team that builds some leads and is able to maintain that lead when they go in their depth. I just don't know if this Nuggets team is equipped the same way to be able to build a strong lead, throw some bench players out there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 10 guys that end up playing on any given night, but I think there's going to be 2 or 3 of those guys that are getting, 4 minutes or less.
Yeah, that's definitely the way it's going to go. No
okay,
question.
so you're still expecting.
But they are playable. You're talking about the years under Michael Malone. They were like not playable.
Yeah,
it's like you might as well not even dress. You're not getting on the floor, right? Who's your situation? Like, oh, we'll play with 4 before we put you in the game, right? I mean, it was almost that bad at times. It's not. I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. I think
that's
that
fair.
they're going to have a different approach. The other issue, besides defense, besides health, that is glaring right now, and it is particular to Nikola Jokic leading the way, is the turnovers. And they had 17 last night against the Clippers. And I don't know what to make of this. I want to believe, and again, I have an admitted bias. I want to believe Jokic can do no wrong, and he truly is superhuman. But what I've seen since his return, with them going 3-5, is a ton of turnovers and a lot of bad team defense when he's on the floor. I want to believe, Dante, the turnovers are in part because, one, he's working his way back from an injury that he's never really experienced before, but two, that he's experimenting. Because he saw a whole bunch of guys play and a whole bunch of people do a lot of things that they never had a chance to do before when he was out, when Val was out, when Aaron Gordon's been out, when Peyton Watson's been out, and on and on and on and on and on, that he wants to see now how it all works when he's back in there. Is that a stretch to think that Jokic is experimenting a little bit to figure out what they can and can't do with different combinations?
I don't think it's a stretch that he's experimenting, but to me, that's still not an excuse as to why he has the amount of turnovers he has. He's had other guys come in the past, and it doesn't look like this. To me, I actually think it's more of a case of being lazy and not having that attention to detail going into this game or into a handful of these games. I think that has to do with him being out of shape. And everyone says, when you get tired, what's the first thing that goes? Your attention to detail. The small little things that you're normally used to doing doesn't necessarily happen when you're a little out of breath there. So I think that's a big part of it. And I think part of it's also maybe the Nuggets just thinking they're better than their opponents in some of these games. It's almost as if somebody told the Nuggets, oh yeah, the Clippers are tanking. They're not going to try this game. And then the Clippers had active hands on defense. They met the challenge that the Nuggets, provided for them. And the players are never going to tank in basketball. That's not how it works. Organizations can tank, but the guys that you're throwing out on the court, they're hungry. They're playing for their livelihoods. They're going to try their hardest. So it's almost as if somebody told the Nuggets, like, oh, no, the Clippers aren't going to try tonight. You guys can be a little lazy with the ball. And that's just not what happened in last night's game.
Portland tonight. 8 o'clock start. That was the site of Game 5 of the season. I think it was Halloween, that first NBA Cup game, where they got screwed at the end, where they bear hugged Jokic and they called the jump ball, and they ended up losing by 2, 109-107. One of the early losses that shouldn't have been for the Nuggets. So hopefully they get right and maybe a little get back for that game in Portland tonight. But the Blazers, again, a team that you are going to be sadly mistaken if you overlook, because they are a team with a bunch of young talent that is going to go out and play super hard and super aggressive and be athletic and be physical, all those things that what you're saying the Nuggets may be just rolling their eyes at right now and saying, whatever, we'll try to win in the clutch, and then they don't win in the clutch.
Exactly. It's one of those where they just kind of expect to go in there and win because, it's the Trailblazers. They stink. Not the case this year. They're about 500 this year. Probably going to be a play-in team. They're on the up and up as far as an organization goes. So I'm excited for the game tonight. See if the Nuggets get back on track. Before we transition off the Nuggets here, is there anything that you could see from the Nuggets going into the playoffs that would reaffirm your championship hopes for this team?
Health.
Just health. If everyone's out there, that's all you need to see.
If they play, they have 26 games left. If they can play the final 15 games fully healthy, at least 12, but hopefully 15 fully healthy, and I mean, like, no questions whatsoever. Jamal is questionable tonight with hamstring tightness. Another hamstring with Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon. I mean, zero questions at all, and I need 100% absolute animal Aaron Gordon ready to go, because that makes us a different team.
I think that's fair. I just don't know how realistic that is, that you're going to be 100% confident in the health of this team, given how the season's gone. I would like to see a win streak of some point to finish out here. They have a fairly tough schedule in their last 26 games here. They got a handful of games against the Jazz and teams like that, but it's a lot of good teams that are going to be either playoff teams or play-in teams left on the schedule here. I'd like to see something close to a 10-game win streak. I think they need to go out and show that they can win consistently day in and day out.
10 games. They only have 26 left, and they have the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA.
Oh, do they have the toughest?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see that. I was just looking at the teams they were facing.
10 is a lot.
I'd like to see it. I really would. I think that's the only thing that would
never
really
had
give
one
me
in
confidence.
the Jokic era.
They've never had a 10-game win streak?
They've never had a 10-game win streak in the Jokic
All
era.
right, I'll go 8-game win streak. But I just need to see that you can go out and be consistent on a night-to-night basis and take care of teams that are playoff teams. That's who you're going to be facing off in the playoffs. You can't expect to go out there and beat the Jazz or beat the Grizzlies. You're going to face teams that are quality opponents, and I want to see you go out and string some wins against those teams in a row.
I'm going to ask you this question as we head into the timeout here, and it's going to lead us into our next segment as we're looking forward to what's going to be a fantastic Sunday morning. But I'm going to tie our two ball arena teams together before we get to the Olympic hockey, and I want you to answer this question when we come back on the other side. For the playoffs, what is the bigger roadblock to a title? The Nuggets clutch play or the Avalanche power play? Answer that when we come back.
Does Sean Payton need a home run hitter in the running back room?
Travis Etienne is the type of playmaker that the Broncos need on their offense. He's a guy that gets to top speed instantly. He gets to and through the hole quickly. He explodes on the linebacker level, and he's got the long speed that you could have a simple handoff for Travis Etienne, and all of a sudden it's a 60-yard run.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Men,
We all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
AutoNation's New Year, New Wheels event is going on now. Drive any new or used vehicles, 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. Save thousands on your favorite cars, trucks, and SUVs. Plus, we'll buy your car for top dollar today. Don't miss 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. On select models with approved credit, interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details, subject to in-store verification.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through March 22nd, switch to Comcast Business and get started with 150 megabit internet plus Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Or ask how to lock in your rate for 5 years on a qualifying internet bundle and get a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. For a limited time only. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
Friday night edition, Denver Sports Tonight. Chad Andrus with Dante Gomez. I'm going to throw this question out there, Dante, to the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043, for the rest of the show. Just to chime in, I want to see where the pulse of the fans is, and we'll get into this for just a moment before we get into the Olympic hockey. The question I asked to you before the break, which is the bigger roadblock to winning a title this season, the Nuggets clutch play or the Avalanche power play?
For me, I think it's the Avalanche power play. I get that the Nuggets have been great in clutch, but I think it's going to take a lot more than just clutch time baskets for them to win some of these games in the playoffs, some of these series. I think there's a chance they're just outmatched against some of the better teams in the playoffs, and that has nothing to do with it coming down to clutch time. I think there's just a chance to get outmatched for the first 3 quarters and 10 minutes of the fourth quarter before we even get to the clutch time. The Avalanche are the best team in the NHL, and the only reason they don't win the Stanley Cup is because if they don't win it, is because the power play failed them.
See, this is interesting because I understand the outmatched portion of it, and that's why I think the clutch play for the Nuggets is more important than the Avalanche power play. I'm on the opposite side of it, so I do want to hear what you guys think out there. RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. I think it's clutch play because in the NBA playoffs, the games are always going to be close, and you have to perform in crunch time and win those games on the margins and steal them. You have to be able to win a game maybe you shouldn't win, or you have to be able to come up with that clutch basket. I think the Avalanche, playing at their peak, power play might not even matter for at least most of the Western Conference playoffs. So, I think they can win 5-on-5, and because of the nature of the power play, just having the puck for 2 minutes, even without scoring, you're eliminating any other chances for the other team if you're not giving up shorthanded goals,
Well,
which they have done. I know. You would hope that gets shored up in the playoffs just to not, be a sieve when you're on the power play. But just being able to control and tilt the ice if you're on the power play, I don't know that you necessarily have to score with the firepower they have and what they showed for the bulk of the season. The clutch time for the Nuggets, I think, is way more important. So we'll just take your feedback on the text line the rest of the show, get some results in that final segment. I don't know which way you're leaning. What are you more concerned about? But that is a good transition into what has been a fantastic Olympic hockey tournament in Milan this year. Did you catch either of the games today? Canada?
I caught both of them. I've been watching basically every single game. If Canada or USA are playing, I've watched the game.
Okay. Canada, another slow start. Struggled a little bit down on an 0-2 hole against Finland early on the ropes again, but they come rallying back, and they close it in the final minutes behind who else but Nathan McKinnon. Fantastic goal that snuck in the corner. It's really odd if you watch both the games with Tage Thompson's goal in the first period for the USA and Nathan McKinnon's goal. They were almost from the identical spot on the ice. They were very similar. McKinnon's was low and Thompson's went high, but both into just the smallest windows between the goaltender and the post on the left side. Canada gets it done on the McKinnon game winner, 3-2 over Finland to move to the gold medal game. USA dominates Slovakia 6-2. It was a 5-0 game. At one point, again, they got that Thompson goal late in the first, and it was 2-0. And then in the second period, it was just, pardon the pun, but an avalanche for Team USA when Jack Eichel, and then Jack Hughes went, right in a row in a span of about 6 minutes to make it a 5-0 rout there. How hyped are you for this game, first of all?
I'm incredibly excited.
Do you ever get up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday?
Chad, you stole the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask, I dare you to ask my roommates the last time they saw me out of my bed at 6 in the morning, and the answer is probably because I was still up from the night before.
Yeah.
And I will definitely be up and watching this game at 6 a.m. I have to watch. I'm so bought into the tournament. It's been a great tournament in general, and we're just seeing such a high level of hockey. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to this is when you ask the viewers, why should you care about it? It's because the players care about it. Look at the passion that these guys play with. Look at the defeat. When somebody loses in one of these heartbreaking losses, you could tell it hurts these guys. So it's been a great tournament, and I will definitely be there to watch the matchup that I think everybody was hoping for when the tournament started was let's get Canada-US in the final and see what happens, and we're getting to that point now.
You're still in your 20s, so you should do the all-nighter leading up to the game with your buddies and power through. Like I lay that challenge down to you. I'm not doing it. We started the show talking about my age and how old I am. I can't do that anymore. But speaking of that, Dante, you would think the United States and our athletic dominance across all sports because of our population, our resources, what we invest in it, the way we are on the world stage, we do very well compared to other countries. There's only been 3 times in my lifetime that Team USA has been playing in a medal round. And I'm 52 years old. So I was a little kid for the Miracle on Ice in 1980. Since then, it's been 2 silver medals. And by the way, both of those were losses to Canada, who won the gold. And the USA is 0-4 all time against Canada when it counts. But we were figuring this out today. The medal round used to be a lot different. There wasn't a gold medal game necessarily where the loser gets silver. You could be playing in what they call the gold medal game and end up with nothing, like Finland did in 1980 when they lost to the United States. Like the U.S. beat the Soviet Union in the semifinal to advance to the gold medal game, but the Soviet Union still got the silver medal because of winning their next game. So it was not always this format. It kind of might be a little bit more interesting if you were a threat to not have anything at the end of it
Well, I will say, I think to these guys, it's going to feel like they won't have anything. Whoever loses.
Oh yeah,
game.
there will be guys who seriously consider leaving their silver medal in the hotel room the way U.S. Olympic basketball did it at one point in time. After some controversy in the Olympics.
I think they got the bronze, right?
Yeah. Well, that was a different one, right? There was a controversy with Russia, and the U.S. thought they got screwed with officiating in the final seconds, and there were guys that didn't take their medals. There will be guys that contemplate that thought. I would think they would all come to their senses and know what an honor and a privilege it was to represent their country and win a silver medal. But there's no question they're going to walk away feeling like they lost a gold medal. They didn't win a silver.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm excited for this game is because both teams think they have a legitimate shot to go out and get it done. And the U.S. being slight underdogs in this game, but it's not going to feel like that when those teams line up on Sunday. These guys all know each other very well, all NHL players across the board, and this might be the highest level of hockey that we see all year, or for the last decade and into the next decade. I don't know what we're expecting here, but or what we're going to get, but I'm expecting a very high-quality game, and I think we have a chance to break the record for the most viewed most viewed hockey game in general ever.
Yeah, it will be. Look, there was the women's hockey game in the middle of the week on USA peaked at 7.7 million viewers. This is going over 10.
7.7.
This is going over 10.
I think so too. I think we're going to get like 10.3 plus.
If NBC promotes it properly, it could go to 11 or 12 million people.
I agree.
Morning.
And it's going to be at 6 in the morning. I guess East Coast time, 8 a.m., so it's a little bit better of viewership out there. But yeah, I expect this thing to do a lot of numbers.
2 quick questions before we move on from this. 4 nations, Canada won. USA had some griping that the officiating was really poor and it favored Canada. Anything to that going into this gold medal match?
I don't think so. And to be honest, I don't think those guys even care about that anymore. And people were saying that in real time, and I was like, no, these guys care. And I think they did care in real time. But you look back on it, it was a made-up tournament. This is for an Olympic gold medal. I think this is for all the marble. If USA wins on Sunday, I don't think Canada's bringing up, oh, yeah, but we won the 4 nations. I don't think that's a comeback or any bragging rights on that. I think tomorrow it matters for the last, because NHL guys haven't been able to participate in the Olympics since 2010, I want to say. So this is for like the last decade of hockey supremacy.
Connor Hellebuck or Jordan Binnington?
I mean, I'd take Hellebuck in that situation. Binnington's been there, which I was trying to tell Drew before the Olympics started. He was saying that Binnington is the real weakness of Team Canada. And I was like, yeah, but did you see him in 4 nations? And he was terrible. Not terrible. He was not good in the NHL prior to that, and he stepped it up in the 4 nations to be really good. Same thing. He stepped it up in the Olympics so far to be really good. I'll go with Hellebuck just based on more recent play in the NHL, and this is going to be much more like an NHL game than when you're taking on Slovakia or Italy. But I think Binnington will be up for the challenge still.
Yeah, it kind of helps a little bit when you have Makar and Taves in front of you. Might make a little bit of a difference for Jordan Binnington. Monster game. Everybody set your alarms. Appointment viewing, Sunday morning. It is going to be awesome. USA, again, since they haven't won gold since 1980. Only 2 silvers since then in terms of medals. Enormous opportunity to beat Canada, which, honestly, this Canada team, I know they've gotten off to slow starts and it has been comeback wins and struggles, but it is still like playing the U.S. in basketball when you play Canada in hockey. They are the team to beat, and the U.S. has an opportunity to do it. Appointment viewing, get out of bed early on Sunday.
And real quick before we move on, I think Canada and I think USA you can put in the same bucket. I think they've been playing with their food. I think this is the game that they've all had their eyes on. I don't think they had their full attention when they were going up against Finland in this last game. I don't think you're going to get a sleepwalking version of Canada.
No, I don't think you will either. But it may take their star power. They may take Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar and Connor McDavid to play like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant did to beat Jokic in Serbia in the Olympics 2 years ago. All right. I am going to switch gears just because it's you, Dante. I'm going to dedicate what we do next to you when we wrap up this show. But before we do, I do want to get a little bit more feedback here on the text line, 303-713-1043. Chime in so we can tally it up here in the final segment. What is the bigger roadblock to a title in our town this spring? The Nuggets clutch play or the Avalanche power play? Dante and I are torn on this, so weigh in and break the tie when we come back and wrap things up with hope springing eternal today, Dante.
Should the Broncos be aggressive in the tight end market again this offseason?
I think there's some opportunities out there to kind of fix that issue if the draft is in a place where you're like, hey, I'm comfortable going up and getting Sadiq and moving up 10 spots. Like, if you're not comfortable doing that, then I think there's free agents available that would fit the bill.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Now, when Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment when the kid starts believing, hey, I could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something super important. That's your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts, no commitments. So, while your kid's ordering online or streaming highlight reels, your Xfinity internet price won't change. It will not budge. And who knows, by the time the next Winter Olympics roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 10 years. That's a $10.99 value each month. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes, fees, extras. Actual speeds may vary.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040, and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-718-4040.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Klis, presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Wrapping up the week on this Friday night chat, Andres Dante Gomez on Denver Sports Tonight. We asked the question on the RamosLaw.com text line. What is the bigger roadblock to a title this year, the Nuggets clutch play or the Avalanche power play? And at 303-713-1043, the answers coming in here, Dante. I like this one. Which one's easier to fix? You would think it should be the Avalanche power play with the talent on the team, but they haven't been able to do that for 2 years. So I don't know how easy it is to fix. Maybe some of the play in the Olympics with what some of the guys have shown on their respective countries' plays may give them some ideas and some opportunities to tweak it.
I don't know how much I buy into that. I think that the level of competition has a lot to do with the success that they're seeing on the power play. When you're facing a team that has 0 NHL guys or 2 NHL guys, I'm sure it's a lot easier to score than when you're going up against the Dallas Stars or when you're going up against the Utah
When
Mammoths.
it's McKinnon and McDavid,
Celebrini
and Makar.
Exactly. Your power play line is going to be a lot better. Not a lot better, but noticeably better than what you see the Avalanche roll out.
I like this one. If the Avs penalty kill can keep it up as it has, I think they can overcome the bad power play. So maybe one special teams dominates if the other one cannot. That's a good take right there. Where's the disconnect? Right players, right power play, 1 versus 2, optimize, put players in positions to succeed, don't just cram talent. And I think that's what a lot of people have said. For me, it's hard to understand how they can go through that series against the Stars last year, how they can have struggles for the better part of 2 years of just lack of shots on goal during the power play and not just fire anything at the net the way Dallas did, because it worked for them. Dallas just mucked it up and threw trash like, we'll throw something up there and maybe we'll get a bounce. And, oh, hey, look at that. We won a game that we just trailed for 47 minutes. And it worked to win a series. It seems it's hard for me to understand why they just don't do that. But again, that's like telling a basketball team, well, why don't you just make all the 3-pointers? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Okay, Dante, real quick, 2 minutes, because this is about all the time that it deserves. I grew up playing baseball, loved baseball, went to games all the time with my dad as a kid, followed it religiously, have had zero interest in quite a long time in this town, largely in part because of the team here or the state of Major League Baseball. If the Rockies are ever going to get me back, Dante, it would be under new leadership and a new approach with Paul DePodesta. So how do they get me back this year?
I don't know if they get you back this year. This might be the
How
year
do they
before.
How do they show me encouraging signs that make me want to pay attention to this franchise?
I mean, obviously going on and winning games is the simple answer. I don't think they're going to go out and be in the mix for a wild card spot. I think it's about just being more competitive in some of these games, limiting the blowout losses that we've seen the past 2 years, where it is 10-0 in the fourth inning, or I think there's a handful of games we saw was 6-0 in the first inning. I think limiting those games and making sure that it's a competitive game into the 6th, 7th, 8th inning where your bullpen actually gets to go out there and have some high leverage moments. I think that's a first step there, but just playing exciting baseball, and you got the young guys to be able to do it. You hopefully have the new rotation to be able to go out there and leave yourself some opportunity in these games, but short answer, they won't be crazy competitive this year. You're probably looking at the year before the year.
We bring it up because they played today in spring training, and of course, it's the Rockies, so they lost 3-2. And by the way,
it's game 1.
Nolan Arenado did hit a home run against them for the Diamondbacks. So, same old story. We'll see, but hope does spring eternal. Thanks for hanging on Denver Sports Tonight.
Tune into The Rundown with Richie Carney every weekday at noon on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Presented in part by the Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier indoor golf bar experience. Check out this week's live music, trivia, and other fantastic